Hello, my name is Richard Forget, and if you're looking at this video, I probably have talked to you about this. It's called TRESA, Trust in Real Estate Services Act. So this was mandated by our council, the governing council for realtors. It's called RECO, Real Estate Council of Ontario. And so they changed the rules on how we deal with you. And the new rule that they instituted is that we have to show you this before we do anything with you. I cannot give you any kind of services until I explain to you what's in here. So I'm going to try to do it in a nutshell. You're still going to have to read it yourself, but it's very important to know that this is not a contract in any respect. If we were to work together, if it was on the buying side, we would sign a buyer representation agreement. If we were on the listing side, it would be a listing agreement. But this is just, it's called the RECO information guide, and that's all it is, information. Now, we do have to have you sign off on it, which is why I guess it freaks people out a little bit, because they think, what am I signing here? Is this some kind of an agreement? Zero agreement. Basically, you're just acknowledging that I have presented this to you and that we have chatted about the information. So I'm going to try to do this quickly in a nutshell, but you'll still have to read it. I prefer that you do that. But what has changed is in real estate, we used to have what was called client representation, customer representation, and multiple representation. It's gone. Client representation is now replaced by designated representation. So what does that mean? Okay, so in real estate, if we were to now to create a designated representation, that would mean I solely will be representing you, nobody else in the brokerage. Even though, let's complicate it a little bit more now. Your agreement will be with RE/MAX Hallmark first, with designated representation. But there's also what's called brokerage representation, and that's where anybody in the brokerage technically is representing you. So Joe Smith, who works with RE/MAX Hallmark First, would be technically representing you, but we're not going with that. RE/MAX Hallmark First decided that they are going to choose designated representation. So the benefit to that is, okay, so in the past, if let's say I was representing you on a buy and we were putting an offer in on a home, if the listing agent also worked for my brokerage, RE/MAX Hallmark First, right away we would be in multiple representation because the same brokerage is representing the buy side and the selling side, and we would have to disclose that to you, of course. So now what they've done with this new form, designated representation just between you and I, if another agent in my brokerage, for example, puts an offer in representing a client on a home I'm listing, let's say you and I are selling a home together, it no longer is multiple representation because our relationship is just between you and me, basically. If it was this other representation, broker's representation, again, that would mean multiple. But so the reason they did that is it's a way of protecting you. So there's one more form of representation we have to discuss, and that is that you can represent yourself. It's called self-representation. In that case, I am totally hands-off. I cannot give you expert advice. I cannot give you expert knowledge. I cannot lead you in that, let's say you're on the buying side, and normally I would be reaching out to the listing agent and gleaning as much information I can in terms of motivation, etc., in terms of the sellers. Vice versa, on the selling side, I'm trying to get the same information from the buying side and take all that information and give it to you through the lens of my expert opinion. With self-representation, you are basically going to have to reach out to a lawyer and have a lawyer give you advice. Is a lawyer an expert in real estate? It's up for you to decide. For me, the highest form of representation would be designated representation, but you have all those choices to make and we can discuss them so that you have all the information that you need. So in a nutshell, that's the most important part after at least to check this out. The main part of what I want to sort of relate to you with this video is that this is not a contract in any way. It's an acknowledgement that you have read what's on here and you understand it. So the main point is designated representation, brokerage representation, and multiple representation. What do they mean? And I think I sort of explained it to you now. But again, I'm going to send this out to you. You probably have it with this. So when I send the TRESA, this form to you, you're also going to have this video. Maybe you can take a look at that, and after you watch this video, it'll be a little bit easier to understand. Okay, please, if you have any questions, just call me at any time. My phone is always on. Chat soon.